Argentinian San Luis. And okay, this is like very well known position. Played many times on high level. Okay, take 10, knight d2, castle, and knight f6, e4, and dictate c4. Again, I think last year Aronian played against me b5, and this was what he played, and then I won nicely after taking at rook e1. But now, okay, somehow dictate c4. I remember one game, if I'm not wrong, Karpov lost when he played like this. And I think b5, and then if c5, b4, and bishop d3. This is black's idea, to exchange his white square bishop. But then, okay, of course I tried to prevent it, playing a4. And then, okay, if black plays some move, then after knight takes e4, white has a pleasant advantage. That's why knight d5. Okay, I think it was played already, of course. And here somehow for black I like a lot more taking with the d5 pawn. And then if rook e1, then rook c8. I believe black has a strong compensation. It's very hard to win for white, in fact. For example, what I didn't like for me was that after bishop b2, then bishop b4. So I'm pinned. Okay, of course I can play bishop f1 and take, but still somehow I didn't like it so much. And if I try to play f3, then okay, black has always f5 or queen g5. Okay, white has to play obviously this move, and then let's say black takes. And this position somehow I'm not sure it's so easy for white, because the knight is really bad, and it's not clear what white's next move is. Let's say queen g5 is a very strong move now, so I have to go almost knight b1. And in fact, this is what I liked more for black. But after bishop f1, d6, we reach a position that I think it was already played, and of course now the idea is, okay, after taking, that black protects his pawn. My bishop is on c3, and now I played b4, which I believe is a strong move. Otherwise, black's idea, in fact, is some moment to play c5. For example, I can play knight c4 first, but then, okay, if black plays c5, then d5 is very strong. But, for example, if rook a d8, I considered queen e1. And so, and if c5, then I wanted to take and play b4 and b5 next. In general, I consider this should be better for white, because white has extremely good coordination, and black's extra pawns are not easy to move. And I have very nice squares, diagonal for my bishop, and then b5, a5, b6 is my plan. And okay, the rook on d3 can be chased away with knight e5. So I believe this kind of structure is very good. So this was the reason I played, in fact, first b4 with the same idea. I wanted to play knight c4. No, I mean, I wanted always to take with the d pawn and play b5 after. And I was also sometimes worried, for example, with this move, rook a8. So if I play queen e1, then I didn't like very much this for black. I thought it's maybe not so bad to play queen e6, and then the rook goes to d3. So for this reason, the queen should be on e2, and then okay, c5 is always met by b5, rook d3, and then I play rook c1, and then slowly, or f3 is a threat even sometimes, or the knight goes to c4, and this structure should be technically very difficult for black. And now, if black tries to sacrifice the pawn with e5, then I take it, and after queen e6, there was a difference that I could play f3 if I was not wrong. My rook is still here. And if black plays rook d3, then rook c1. But okay, of course, here black has some move like queen a2. So if I take, then rook d8, and it has to be analyzed, of course. But this is what I was worried about, because the structure that we got after queen d6, I believe is very difficult for black. The problem is the rooks are very bad. It's not easy to open lines for the rooks. So first, black is quite passive. f3, and very good coordination for me. Could you tell me just how exactly? I think he played rook d5, queen d5, but the problem is, okay, no, first h6, or queen d5. But in fact, the problem is that it's very passive for black. Rooks, they can only defend, and white's plan is that I have a very strong square, so I block here. Black has one extra pawn on the center and one extra pawn on the queen side, but all the moves are bad, because if he plays b5, then I in fact weakens all the pawns, and a5 is then I take, and this pawn would be very weak in the future. In fact, I also consider to play sometimes a5 myself. It's not a threat, but sometimes I just protect the pawn on a4, because sometimes it's hanging, and black cannot move. Okay, of course, a5 is never possible, and g5 is weakening the king. So the problem with the rooks is that they can never become active. So, you see, no, it's black move. Sorry, he played queen d7 now. And I played queen e2, queen d5, and f3. So, okay, this is the position we got. So, of course, h6 is a good useful move. So, first, I have to change the active queen with rook e1, rook f8, and queen c2. Perfect place, because sometimes if the queen goes to c4, then the knight attacks, and okay, the place on a6 is not so good for it. So, okay, more or less the white's plan is to fix, to put my pawn on h5, and then this is what I wanted to achieve, you know. And then sooner or later the pawn on e6 would be lost for black.